My name is Janet Slater. I attend the traditional service, 9 a.m. service. I sit on the right-hand side, halfway up at the end. I was attending the United Methodist Church in Newtown in the late 70s, early 80s, and the minister there was a dear friend of mine and my family's, and we did so much together. I was very involved in the church, and he was transferred to another church after several years, and unfortunately he was killed in a car wreck. And I moved away and came to Bethel, and I just never did get back into church, and I regret that. I know there was a Methodist church in Bethel, but it just never happened. I was saved back in the 70s and 80s when I went to the church, the Methodist church, and I really missed going. But when I moved up here, it was just so far away, and I never searched for another church. In 2008, I lost my husband. I came home from work and found him in the yard. He was gone, and that's when the sadness started. It started really bad then, and I thought, well, I've got to adjust, and it was rough, and I still wasn't going to church. And a year and a half later, I was blessed with meeting Dwight, and we were such good friends. We had so much fun. We never married, we were friends, and we dated. And 5.5 years after Dwight and I started dating, he died in my arms at the hospital. The doctors just didn't think it was serious enough to come right in, and I held him and I felt the life leave his body. That's when the real bad depression set in, because I lost my second chance for happiness. And I guess I fed that, because it just got worse and worse. The depression was horrible. And a few months later, after Dwight passed, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I was alone. Everybody in my family lived over an hour away, and I was alone. And for 2 months after being diagnosed with cancer, I had my surgery and everything went well. I was so thankful for that. And I still wasn't going to church. After my surgery, I was so thankful to be well again, but I was lonely. And I was severely depressed from losing Dwight. And it got so bad that I felt like I wasn't worth anything. And I would go to bed at night and I would think, this is the way it was last night, this is the way it's going to be tomorrow night. I'm just so lonely. And I would make trips to the stores in hopes to see somebody I knew that I could talk to, somebody, hoping they would maybe shake my hand or something. That's why I would go down sometimes to like Walmart, just to meet somebody, just to talk to somebody. And one morning, I woke up in November. I got out of my bed to go to the kitchen to make my coffee, and I was in the middle of the living room floor, and I froze. And I heard and I felt the voice saying, "You have no reason, you have no worth." And at that time, I felt those words. I felt like I had no reason and I had no worth. And it scared me to death. I've never been that scared in my life, and I've been scared before. But I felt those words, and at that short time, I had no reason or no worth, and I was the only person in this world. I made my way back to the dining room chair. I was going to have my coffee, and I just handed it over to Jesus. I gave up, and I even told him out loud, I'm not even going to try anymore. Nothing was working. And I just simply said, take it. You've got to help me, because I was desperate. I'd hit rock bottom. And before I had a chance to get out of my chair, I had the strongest feeling to come and check out the church that I always paid attention to on 774. I paid attention to this church from the time they were building it. And I always thought it was such a neat looking church. So I did something that even surprised me. I went right to my car, came down here, turned on 774, and before I got to the church, I saw that it was a United Methodist Church. And I was so excited. So I turned around and went back home and got the phone number off of my computer. I called the church and left a message saying I would like to hear from someone because I just am interested in coming by. Pastor Mike called me the next day and he told me, hey, we've got Bible study on Wednesday night. How about coming in, get familiar with the church, meet a few people, and that way you won't be coming into a strange church on Sunday. So I did, and keeping in mind, I did not remember him telling me his name. So the following Wednesday, I came in and this gentleman approached me before I got in Bible class, and he extended his hand and he says, welcome to my church. My name is Pastor Mike. And I had such a chill go up my spine because Pastor Mike was the name of my dear friend that had a church in Newtown, and unfortunately he was killed in a car wreck, and we were very, very good friends. So I knew I was where I belonged. I came to church the following Sunday, and I was comfortable because I had been here for Bible class, and right away there was handshakes, I got some hugs, and it was wonderful. It felt really good, and from the first day on, my life has turned around. I know what happened. I handed it over to Jesus because I didn't know what to do anymore. I was feeding the wrong emotion. And I was feeding the fact that I was lonely and depressed. That's all I was thinking about. I handed it over to him and I let go of it all the way. And now I'm feeding the right emotion. I'm happy. My life is, it's changed so much since my first Sunday here. My church family, they're wonderful. And now my family life at home is wonderful, and I even have a social life. I go to bed at night now and I smile, I'm happy, and I have not one worry now, not one. And it's a miracle, but I let it go all the way. I didn't hold on to any of it because I knew I couldn't do it. He did it for me. I'm Janet Slater, and this is more than just a chair because it's where God meets with me.